Guiding you home has been intentionally designed to set you up and support you and ensure that you are fully resourced before you make the major commitment of starting the journey for whether it's building or renovating your home. The equivalent to starting a marathon and having done the training, having engaged a trainer, having run the miles, so that when you then sign up for the marathon and are standing on the start line, ready to go, you are prepared. You have done all the work that got you to that point, and you are prepared, and you are starting the journey, starting the marathon, knowing what is ahead of you and knowing that you have all the tools in your toolbox, all like you're set, you're ready to go. That's effectively the equivalent of what guiding you home is. Obviously not for a marathon, but for home design. As I said, whether it's renovating or whether it's building. So guiding you home, what does it look like? It looks like us hanging out for 5 weeks, where every week we will be connecting via a 2-hour Zoom call. And on each of those calls, we will be running through a structured program. There are certain things that I want to deep dive with you, because I know that to create a beautiful home, it really comes from heart, soul, history, and lived experience. So on each of those calls, we're going to go through different things. We're going to go through, like, 1 week, we're going to go through story, because it's one thing to have a, you know, a nice home, but unless your home has been designed with you and with your story and reflects that, it's not really going to have soul. It's not going to feel good when you walk into it. You're not going to feel lit up when you're in your home. So we're going to really deep dive. Actually, 2 weeks, we're going to deep dive into your story. We're going to do a week where we are unpacking design. So we're going to be looking at design, your particular design aesthetics, your particular design functionality, and then we're going to be looking at design from an experience point of view. So people that are living in the home with you, what are you wanting to experience? What are you wanting to experience? What are you wanting people within your home that you share it with wanting to experience? What do you want people that you're inviting into your home? What are you wanting them to experience? Another call, we're going to be deep diving more into language. And so by language, I mean, when you're working with a team of professionals for your design, construction, build, renovation, we all communicate in a slightly different, we all communicate in a slightly different way. We all have different methods in how we communicate. So obviously when you're working with a designer, you're working more with someone who communicates visually, and also technically. When you're working with a builder, they're communicating, and they have a language all of their own. So we're going to be deep diving into that. We're going to be looking at the different ways designers communicate, the different ways the builders communicate, the different tools that they use to communicate, to make sure that you are familiar with them and understand them. There's a huge assumption that in hiring a designer, again, whether it's building designer or architect, and when they're presenting designs to you, whether they're presenting elevations and sections, and that there's a huge assumption that you as the client actually understand what it is that's being presented to you. That's not always the case, and there are lots of intricacies to design and to the way that that's presented that a lot of people don't understand, and don't understand until they actually get to the construction stage and they physically see it being built, and then realize, oh, I didn't know that that was going there, or I thought that was over here, because there was a miscommunication or misunderstanding at that initial design stage in understanding the language. So we're going to deep dive in language. It's really important. And then we're going to dive into the rules of the game. And by that, I mean the process, by understanding the process, by understanding the journey, by understanding when things happen, the sequencing. You then get to make educated and conscious decisions as to whether that works for you. And if it doesn't work for you, you then get to have a conversation with your designer or your builder. And it gets to be a different experience for you. But if you don't know what that process is in advance, then it's really difficult for you to have those conversations. And then the other part to that is that in understanding the rules of the game, in understanding the process, it also then allows you, because let's be honest, when we take on a build or renovation project, life doesn't stop. We're still juggling everything else that we're juggling. We still have work commitments, we still have family commitments, if we have kids, we're still, none of that stops. All of that continues. And so in understanding the rules of the game, in understanding the process, it arms you and equips you with then knowing where, how, when to focus your time and your energy, so that you can be more intentional about that. So you're not, for example, racing off, getting all excited doing your kitchen design, when the next thing that your designer is going to ask you for is, I don't know, external, for you to select external materials. So you get to be more intentional with how you are investing your time and your energy. And you know that in advance. The conclusion of guiding you home, the intention is that you'll be fully resourced, and you will be able to confidently explain and communicate and express your vision to your design team, construction team, in a way that lands and makes sense for them, so that throughout the process, when different things are coming up and you're being asked, or people are coming to you with different suggestions, you're really clear on what your vision is. And when these suggestions are coming up, they don't throw you for a six. You're able to hear them, to take them on board, to come back to what your vision is, knowing, because you're so clear on what that is. And it's a simple yes, no. Yes, that's in alignment with my vision. No, actually that's not. I'm going to pass on that. Really clear. You will also be able to make decisions with clarity and conviction, because in going through the process together, you will have, I guess, a filter of sorts that you are able to filter through any decisions. So again, when decisions come up, you're really clear on your vision, you're really clear on your story, you're really clear on what the process is, you're really clear on what your design aesthetics are that you're wanting to achieve, you're really clear on the function, you're really clear on the experience. So when there is a decision that comes, when you are being asked to make a decision, it's really easy. It's really easy for you to run it through that filter that we've set up together, and be like, yep, or no, that doesn't work, or can we change it a little bit and maybe that would fit in. And as we talked about earlier, life continues. Life doesn't stop just because we're building or we're renovating our home. And so at the end of this, you are going to be resourced, as I mentioned earlier, in being very intentional in where you're focusing your time and where you're focusing your energy, and focusing it on the right thing at the right time.